You have question? Except Friday? If you do not miss any exam, you don't have class on Friday. But if you miss exam, you have to take the missing exam. I think only one student that missed the exam. Right? So you have to come on Friday to take the makeup exam. Okay. Now we continue. Last time we stopped in ecosystem, right? Ecosystem, which is there are two types of ecosystem. What? Ecosystem terrestrial, which is divided into 10 biomes, and you all know that 10 biomes, okay, starting from tropical rainforest, seasonal rainforest, and until Toyota Tundra. Right? That's number 10. Right, now, the second one, we haven't finished this yet, okay, which is aquatic ecosystem. This ecosystem divided into two main types. The first one is marine, and we have talked about this. Okay, so there is pelagic, there are benthic, there are littoral zones. Okay, and then the second ones will be the freshwater. This is the one that we'll discuss today. So freshwater ecosystem. This freshwater ecosystem divided into two types. If it is flowing, it's called a lotic. Lotic means flowing. Okay, so lotic or flowing water ecosystem. You should be able to know or to guess what is the flowing water going to be. Starting from the creek, from the streams, rivers, that's all going to be flowing water ecosystem or lotic ecosystem. The second ones will be lentic. Lentic means standing. It's not flowing. It's standing water. Standing water ecosystem. Okay? Example is going to be what? Lake, pond, wetlands. Okay? They must be the lentic. Okay? You should be able to see them easy, right? Which one is flowing, which one is not flowing. Especially for swamps, so it's going to be, let's say, lake, pond, wetlands. Wetland is divided into three types. The first one is called swamp. Have you ever seen the swamp people on the TV? What does that mean? The people that live in the swamp area. What is swamp? Swamp is the lentic ecosystem where there are many big trees. If you see there are big tree, a lot of big tree on that lentic ecosystem, that's swamp. Okay? The second one is going to be called the marshes. Marsh. This one, you don't see big tree. Mostly you're going to see the grass, tall grass. Okay, that's going to be the marshes. No big trees. Get it? The last one is called bogs. I don't know whether America have bogs or not. In our country, we have a lot of bogs, especially in the Borneo Islands, Sumatra Islands, and I visit them several times. So this in the bogs is actually saturated with water. But in the top of water, there is no soil. It's actually peat moss. So there is a peat moss. You still remember mosses, right? This is a type of bryophyte, the non-vascular plant. So basically, you actually walk on the top of water, and then the top of water there is a kind of network of peat moss. When you're walking, you just like swaying like this. But don't worry, they're very strong. You will not, drown underwater. And the water is not really deep also. It's not that deep water. It's called the bogs. Okay, so bogs is where the ecosystem saturated with water. and the top of water there is a plant. It's called the peat moss. Okay, so if you smoke over there, it's really dangerous. Don't put that, what you call the butt of smoke on the top of that, because it can be and get fire. Okay, so that's bogs. Okay, do you have question for this one? So basically we finish with this type of ecosystem. Okay, so the two type of ecosystem: terrestrial, aquatic, marine, freshwater, lotic, lentic. We're done with this type of ecosystem. Now in the ecosystem, there will be, remember in ecosystem, this is a system that have energy flowing or cycling. So remember what happened with the energy in the ecosystem? Flowing or cycling? Where the energy coming from in our ecosystem? From the sun. Is going back to the sun or not? No. So energy is flowing, right? But the materials will be cycling, like the water. It stay on Earth, even though it maybe become, a cloud sometime, but it's going back. That's a materials. Material is cycling, energy is flowing. Now, based on that, then there will be, the kind of the flowing of energy and the cycling of materials is always start, of course, from the sun. The energy will be converted into food. Okay, into food. By what? What do you call the group of organisms that converts sunlight energy into food? What do you call them? Autotroph. Okay? So this is autotroph over here. So autotroph, which is convert the sunlight energy into the food. And they're also known as producer, right? So all the prototroph, and the autotroph, they are producer. So we can call them as a primary producers. Okay? In the stable ecosystem, the primary producer has to be the most abundant one, whether in the term of numbers, but also in the term of biomass, the energy that they have. Okay? So they're always in the bottom part, but it's going to be the highest biomass on highest number, right? And then on the top of that, in the stable ecosystem, going to be about 10%. Let's say we have this 100. So less, 10% less is going to be 10. 10 over here is going to be the organism that feed on producer. What do you call them? Herbivore. Herbivore. We can call this as a primary consumer. This is the first consumer that consume on the producer. So we call this primary consumer or herbivores. You follow this? And then the next one should be less in number in the stable ecosystem. So 1 over here will be what? Munachi, what's going to be the next one? If you have primary consumer, then what we have over here? What is after primary? Secondary, okay? So this is going to be secondary consumer. Okay? That feed on the primary consumer. Okay, Elijah, what do you call the animal that feed on animal? Animal that feed on animal? Animal that feed other animal? Carnivore, right? Carnivore, right? Okay, so focus. Don't focus on your cell phone. Put it down. Okay, cell phone is not good today. So secondary consumer, or this is primary carnivore. We can call this carnivore. Okay. Okay, Lenny, the last one. Okay, 0.1. Very few in number. Tertiary carnivore or tertiary consumer, but because they are on the top, we call it what? This is tertiary consumer. Because they are on the top, what do you call them? Tanner? No, omnivore is somewhere over there. Omnivore somewhere over there, but this is on the top. Apex predator, or what they call it, top carnivore. What? That's the top carnivore, or sometimes they are very mean. They are mostly predator, and the top predator we call this apex predator. Okay, can you follow this terminology? It's not that difficult, right? Start from producers, gonna be called primary producer, and then the first consumer. All of this is consumer. On the top, all of the consumer, which is what? What is the opposite of autotroph? They are heterotroph, okay? All of them heterotroph. Heterotroph are consumer. Start from the primary, secondary, tertiary, and etc. Okay? So the top one is going to be the few one. You don't see a lot of lion, for example, compared to the plant or compared to the deers, right? Why? That's a stable ecosystem going to be. If you have more lion, what happen? The lion will die actually because they're going to be starving. Right? They're going to compete. Okay? So this is what we call the trophic level. This is what we call the trophic level in ecosystem. What does trophic mean? Food. Level is level. Level of food in ecosystem. You follow this? Now, in the ecosystem, this actually will create what we call the whether chain or web. We have what we call the food chain. Food chain is only one line. Example, let's say grass. I will not draw because it's going to be difficult to draw the lion. So grass eaten by who eat grass? Let's say deer, right? Deer. And then who eat the deer? Let's say lions. Let's say like that. That's one line over there is called the food chain. Are you with me? Now, let's say we have grass. Eat by rabbit. Is also eat by deer. Rabbit eat by snake. Snake eat by eagle. Deer eat by lion. Rabbit also eat by lions. Something like that. Deer maybe eat by snake, or deer eat by or whatever. If you it doesn't matter. I just want to show you if there is a web like this. You follow this? That's gonna be called the food web.
You got the arrow point the wrong way. For snake and deer, you got the arrow point the wrong way.
Oh, I see that. Thank you. But you know what? Do you know what is this, right? So food chain is only one line, okay, one eating line. But the food web, it is actually what actually happening in the ecosystem. You're gonna see the food web. But you can follow the food chain also if you just want to study one line. Okay, from this one line, you can actually identify their level. Are you with me? Remember, this is level. So grass, what is grass gonna be? Oh, this is primary producer. Can you follow it? And then deer, what is deer over here gonna be? The primary consumer. How about the lion? Secondary consumer. Or you can go here, oh, grass, primary consumer. Primary producer. And then secondary, primary consumer. And then snake, oh, this is secondary consumer. Or carnivore. Oh, this is the top carnivore over here, and etc. Can you follow this? If I put on the example sample, let's say this is number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. Let's say this is number 5, number 6. Can you identify the level over there? Okay, you should. If not, you cry during the exam. Okay, it's not that difficult, right? Primary producer, primary consumer, and then secondary consumer, or the apex predator, the top consumer. That's the what we call the trophic level. Are you with me? Now, one more things maybe, if you want to learn about, let's say about pollution. Oh, you want to take a picture? Let's say you talk about pollution. Let's say this is producer. Okay, this is primary consumer. This is secondary consumer. This is the top carnivore or consumer. Okay, if you see the energy is actually more on the lower part. It become less and less and less on the top part. Also the abundant, the number. But if you talk about pollution, let's say pollution, there is some pollution that actually biomagnify in the ecosystem. They become higher in the higher trophic level. For example, it's organic pollution. Let's say PCB. A lot of PCB on the water ecosystem. So PCB usually in the algae, they are very low in number because algae cannot really take a lot of pollutant. Get it? But when the algae eaten by the zooplankton will have more pollutants in it, in their body. You with me? And then the zooplankton eaten by smaller fish, and the smaller fish will have more PCB on their body. Are you with me? And then if this smaller fish eaten by bigger fish or top carnivore over here, the top carnivore basically will carry millions of PCB concentration on their body. Are you with me? This is actually what happened with the bald eagle, that one time it's become so rare, almost extinct, because what? Because of DDT. So DDT is actually magnified on the eagle's body, especially the female one. And the female, when they produce the egg is not hatching because of this DDT on the mother body. So this is what we call the biomagnification. If you see, the trophic level increase, but this one is actually decrease. So this is actually what we call the kind of the upside down graph between the energy and the biomagnification. Can you follow this? If you want to study about pollution, mostly, especially organic pollution, will be biomagnified on the higher trophic level. Okay? You have questions so far? Okay, now we go to the next. Okay, erase this. Okay, we're gonna go to the last chapter, which is biodiversity and conservation. Okay, now what does biodiversity mean? From the name, again, you should be able to guess. Bio means living. Diversity means different type. Okay, so different type of living. So this biodiversity is really called the different things that present on the ecosystem. It can be divided into three types. Okay, maybe genetic diversity, all the genes, diversity of genes in the ecosystem. Okay, now mostly people kind of look on this. They kind of save some of gene. They created what they call the gene bank. They created what we call the seed banks in order to save, to conserve the gene. Sometimes they can use it again for next generation. The second one, is called the species diversity. This is different number of species in ecosystem. And the last one is going to be habitat or ecosystem. Diversity. Different habitats, different ecosystem in different parts of the world. That's the biodiversity. So in ecology, this is actually our focus here. We will not really talk about the genetic diversity. So mostly we're going to talk about species diversity and habitat diversity in the ecology. Now again, species diversity, this is different numbers or variety of species in the ecosystem. As mentioned before, tropical rainforest, it has a lot of species diversity. They are called the hotspot. There are maybe millions species that live in the tropical rainforest. Compare for the tundra, for example. The tundra, you only maybe 100 type of species that live in the tundra ecosystem, right? Only Toyota Tundra that can go there. It's less, but tropical rainforest is million. And we mentioned before on previous lecture, I forget when is that species in the world is maybe around 5 plus minus 3 million species in the world. This means that even scientists still very vague, about the number, guessing of the number of species, because it's going to be very difficult actually to know the exact number of species on the world. There are so many species that cannot be identified yet. So they put this number between 5 plus minus 3. So the highest may be 8 or 10 million species in the world. And from this 10 or 8 million, only maybe 1 million or less than that is being identified. The rest is still there somewhere, especially in the tropical rainforest. Sometimes people found, I just found a new species, etc. Okay, that's the species diversity. Now, this species, when we talk about species, they might be gone. We still remember, we talk about evolution. There is natural selection that can cause them to form a new species, or even the old species will be gone. And we know it, right? During our time scales in this world, there are so many species that already gone. It's become fossil. You get this one? So this is what we call the extinctions. Okay, so species extinction. Okay, so this species extinction is actually the primary threat for biodiversity. Species extinction. This is the threat for biodiversity. This is logical, right? Biodiversity means number of different species. If some species gone, that's going to be a threat for this diversity, right? Now, this threat maybe can be caused by natural, like maybe volcano eruptions, earthquake, flooding. It might be can take some species out from the ecosystem. You follow this? That's a natural threat. But we are mostly for this conservation, we focus on the human threat. It's called the anthropogenic or human. Okay, human threat to the biodiversity. Okay, it can be abbreviated into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 type of threat of humans for this biodiversity. What is H stand for? Habitat loss or destruction. So habitat loss or distractions.
Yes, observation.
This is actually number one threat in human activity because human change a lot of habitat, right? They cut the forest, they change it into a village, into a city, and etc. That's actually number one threat in human. What is I stand for? In anybody? Invasive. This is number 2, invasive species. In United States, we have heard this happens a lot in Florida, right? When people actually carry Burmese python, and then what happened with that one? That's become the top predator over there. It's actually take a lot of local species, right? It's destroy or threat the biodiversity on the evergreen or in the Florida, okay? Invasive species. There are many others, like in here, we have a lot of plant that actually invasive species. The grass carp, maybe in the lake, grass carp is actually coming from Asia, from China. Now they become number one, maybe, eater in the lake ecosystem. So that's what we call the invasive species, the species that coming from other ecosystem, introduced to the local ecosystem, and it's actually remove a lot of local species. That's invasive species. What is next? This is pollution. We created a lot of pollution, whether water pollution, air pollution, soil pollution. It can kill a lot of species, especially the small microorganism, maybe in the water. There are a lot of them that may be killed by this pollution. What is another P over here? This is actually our population that keep increasing. So population growth of human. When we are growing, what happened? We need more land. We need more, food. We need a lot of things. It's going to become a threat for many of these species. And what's the last one? That's caused by human. Also, overgrazing. So some farmer, maybe here is not really real, but in Africa it's a real problem. Because some farmer, they have cattle, they just leave it on land. It's actually overgrazing on the land. Remove a lot of species on that area.
I've seen that it also includes overhunting.
Yeah, we can also say this is one of them. Overhunting is part of the overgrazing too. Okay, which is we overuse our natural resources for us. Okay, so that's the threat on the biodiversity, which is the species extinction over here. Hey, do you have a question? Next, some terminology. Some terminology for ecology. You want to take picture?
Yes.
1, 2, 3. Okay, now some terminology. That related to ecology. Okay, so terminology for species that related to ecology and habitat ecosystem. There are species called, let's say, generalis. Generalis species. These species actually have wide range of habitats, wide range of ecosystem. They can live in many different habitats. They can have needs, wider needs. Example is what? Yes, rat, raccoon, everywhere. About the human, is human generalis? Yes, human everywhere, right? So just easy example is us. We are generalis species. The opposite for this one is the one that only present in local habitat. Yes, so specialis species. Panda. Example is Kung Fu Panda. You only yes. Good. Polar bear. What else? Koala. Any species that only present in local area because of maybe they need specific environment or they need specific food that only present on that area is going to be called as a specialist. Okay, so example panda, koala, polar bear, they're only present in very small range of habitats. You follow this? Okay? Another terminology, ketone. Keystone species. Yeah. What is this? This is the species that is really important on that ecosystem, on that habitat. Distractions or removal of the species can actually destroy the entire ecosystem.
Reef sharks and sea otters.
Yeah, so but the easiest one is, you know, if you see the Avatar movie, you see Avatar movie, blue Avatar, the blue Avatar live in the big tree, right? That big tree is the source of everything for them, right? When the tree is cut, what happened? All gone. Okay? So many big tree, many tree species in the rainforest ecosystem is actually keystone species. If you destroy them, basically that ecosystem will be gone. You follow this? That's a keystone species. Very important species. If they remove, then the ecosystem will be destroyed. The second one, the next one. There is a species is called the umbrella. Umbrella species in the habitats. The umbrella species means a species that need wide range of habitats. They need a lot of wide range of their, you know, their movement. Mostly the big animals, big mammals, is going to be categorized in this type of umbrella species. Like elephant, for example. You cannot put elephant in this room. He will die. Where you have to put it? You have to put it in the big range of, you know.
Great white sharks and
Yes.
do a lot of traveling.
Yes. So they travel. They need wide range for their life. Okay, that's umbrella. And again, the easy example is most of the big mammals, they are umbrella species. Next one. There are species that actually live in very certain environmental condition. If you change that condition, they will be gone. It can give you indication of something happened over there. If, for example, if there is a pollution, that group of animal may be gone. And the other of animal maybe flourish because of pollution. You see the one? There are some animals that like pollution. They love pollution. Dirty place. Both of these, whether the one that like to live in the clean water or in dirty water, can give us the indication of environment or condition. Is called the indicator species. Mostly people that do research in, let's say, pollution, they try to look for this indicator species. Like lichen or lichens. Okay, do you know what is this? This is the symbiotic between algae and fungi. They usually live on the bark of the tree, whitish color, and they usually like a clean air, clean environment. If the area is polluted, they're mostly gone. That's indicator species. There are a lot of water fleas in water that live in water. They will be gone if the water is dirty. That's indicator species. Can you follow this? Another terminology over here. There is a species called the flagship species. What is this? This is very important actually for conservation.
There's some people like that.
Yeah. So
Cats are doing quite well. They're doing better. They're not doing good. They're not going extinction.
yeah. So this species is the one that people sometimes have the feeling to, something on it. This is whether really cute animal like me or not like me. Not like panda. What? People like panda. So now mostly panda is used as a flagship species. Save this species. What? This is, is cute. He can do kung fu. What? He can beat a lot of bad people. Kung fu panda. That's one of them. What else? Koala. Koala is very cute. Okay. So it's become flagship. You know what I mean? That's flagship species usually used for conservations, program or propaganda or something like that. So that's several terminology for ecological species. Now another terminology for the species extinction. There are 3 levels. The first level that's telling us it's very rare. We have to take care, but they're still there. It's called the vulnerable species. This is related to extinctions. Vulnerable species. This species is very rare locally and may be affected by local activities. If we don't really take care of them, they can increase their level into what we call the threatened. So this threatened species mean that it is in danger. It is in danger to become last one, the endangered species itself.
For example, I think giant pandas right now are like in between threatened and endangered. I think right now pandas are like.
Panda?
I think they're threatened.
Yeah, so we actually can put some species over here based on their protections, whether, sometimes there is a local protection, there is a national protection. Mostly for the endangered species will be under the international protection. Even though it is maybe in one country, but the United Nations will be protect them. Can you follow this? So for the endangered species, they are under international protection. For the threatened, vulnerable, sometimes maybe in the local or state protection agency. Can you follow this? I think we're gonna stop here. And then again, there will be quiz over this chapter over here. Okay? So make sure you do understand what is biodiversity, what is extinction, what is the 5 threat of human, and this kind of terminology. Okay, I'll see you on. Oh yeah, your assignment should be due today.